Should I just let go and trust the universe? How can I trust in life? How can I just let go? How can I get out of my own way and let something bigger than me take over? These are questions that are on many of our minds, because the question is, if you were to just let go and trust the universe, what exactly are you trusting in? What are you letting take over? Some people think that the universe has a plan for them. But what if you are the universe? What if you're the universe appearing as a person? What if you're the dream character in the dream, but also the dreamer? What if you knew yourself as more than the character that you're playing? What if you knew yourself as the one consciousness that the whole dream appears within, including this dream, this one of being a person in 3 dimensions of space and one of time on a planet called Earth, flying around a huge nuclear ball of fire, right? Space and time aren't fundamental. Awareness is. Aware consciousness is. Without awareness, without consciousness, there would be no space and time. Nothing could be proven to exist, and no one would be there to see it. But there is one who sees it. You. The awareness behind the mind, the consciousness behind all of your beliefs, ideas, and opinions. It's pre-personality, pre-personal, impersonal, and infinite. It's more than the character. It's the space that the character appears within. Awareness, consciousness, appearing to itself, witnessing itself through apparent separation, but true reality being this one homogeneous field of aware consciousness. Existence, Sat, Chit, Ananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss. So the dream is happening. What's happening is playing out. In the same way that your heart is beating and your liver's working, do you ever have to beat your own heart? Do you ever have to work your own liver? Breathe your own lungs? Even when the breath is completely out of awareness, it just keeps going on with no control. But apparently you're always doing this thing called thinking, trying to figure it out, trying to make the right choice. There's this apparently separate sense of self that has to get it right. And if this self isn't good enough, worthy enough, skilled enough, beautiful enough, or deserving enough, then it's bound to fail. That's what the fear says anyway, right? And there's this apparently heavy sense of doership, a dense center of thinking and feeling from where all of these choices happen, and yet it's all just happening. If you were to let go and just let it happen, what would happen? And if you were to let go, well, exactly who is going to let go? Because you see, the one who is apparently going to let go is made out of thinking and feeling. But all of this thinking and feeling is not static. It's always changing. And yet there's this unchanging awareness that surrounds it. Experience yourself as this unchanging awareness and see that even your thinking and feeling just happens. Thoughts come and go, feelings change and morph, but you're still here, silently watching. There is a stillness in which all the form is dancing. This universe, this consciousness is simply happening. So if we let it happen, what will happen? Is something bigger than me going to take over? If I'm not in there trying to figure it out, anxious, worrying, strategizing, manipulating the situation, trying to do the right thing and get it right, if I'm not in there doing all that, will it all just fall apart? Or is there something beyond me as an apparently separate individual in space and time? Is there a larger me, a cosmic dreamer that's dreaming the small me? Is this self-aware consciousness appearing to itself? Could it be? Could this be a single, indivisible field of consciousness that gives birth to what we call reality and this illusion of moving through space and time? If I let go and trust the universe, trust this consciousness to flow as it flows, will my manifestations appear? Will my heart desires appear? Will my dreams come true? Or will it all fall apart if I'm not in there trying to figure it out and do the right thing with this heavy burden of needing to try to get life right and make something worth something at the risk of being a total failure and a loser at the game of life? And who's going to let go? The one in the mind story? The one in the thinking? That's made out of thinking. You're here watching it. You're the awareness, aware of the thinking. And what distance is there between the thinking and you as awareness? The thinking appears in awareness. It appears as awareness. There is no distance. This is one homogeneous field of aware consciousness, and it can appear as absolutely anything, any dream, any thinking you could ever imagine, many more dimensions of space and time, or even beyond space and time. What if you knew yourself not just as the dream character or a localization of thinking and feeling, but the aware spaciousness that all the form dances within? What if you knew yourself as the aware consciousness and took a stand as aware consciousness and stayed as aware consciousness? Look at yourself, the one who's watching. Be knowingly yourself, the one who's watching. Watching this pure immediacy, pure nowness. All the when and then is in the mind activity. All the when and then is in memory and imagination. All there ever is this pure immediate field of aware experiencing yourself as this is the key. When you know yourself as this, where is the need to let go? There isn't any holding on in the first place. That's in concepts. The space isn't holding on to the form. The space isn't holding on to any particular thinking or feeling or any other form that flows through it. It remains as it is, and it always is. All concepts of holding on are in the mind, in the idea of being a separate individual that can hold on to something and that can manipulate and control and get it right or wrong. It has its own beliefs, ideas and wants and desires, and it fears that if it's not in control with force, none of those desires will come true. In a way, it fears its own death, because it would mean letting go of attachment to those desires. And yet, the great irony is, when the impersonal is left to take over, when the aware consciousness is left to do its thing without this heavy personal sense of self thrashing around trying to force its desires into existence, the person's desires tend to come true anyway. There's no longer the anxiety about them, the heavy dependence on them, and the attachment to the outcome disappears. And then the outcome, well, it actually has a chance to manifest this time. Because when you're manifesting on behalf of the one true self as the absolute, Well, the absolute usually has the means to manifest them, as far as I can tell. When imagination is left to the universe has the means to bring them about. The universe will deliver the how. The universe has ways and means that are way beyond the mind of the small self. So when you let go and trust the universe, really, you're finally trusting in yourself, your true self, the one who's creating all this, the aware consciousness that all of this plays out as. It's beyond the small me. It's the space that the small me appears within and as and everything else. It's the screen appearing as all the form on the screen. It's the dream appearing to yourself as the dream character and the dream landscape. It's the universe appearing to itself as a human, moving through an apparent world of 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time, yet all appearing as this. So stay knowingly as this infinite field of aware consciousness. I know there's been challenges. I know there's been heights of pleasure and depths of pain. And I know you, as a human, on the human level, have gone through so many ups and downs. And it's real. Just because we're using the analogy of a dream, it doesn't mean that it's not real. Just because it's ultimately an appearance, it doesn't mean it's not significant or meaningful or important. There are feelings to be processed, pain to be released, desires to be manifested, and dreams to come true. It's just that the true you isn't attached to all of that. And when the knowledge of that filters down into the mind, the heavy sense of doership collapses and something else takes over. There is a silent witness watching itself as a human experience learn, grow, heal, and create. And it's a beautiful unfolding, but it is an unfolding, a self-blossoming, expansion and contraction into infinity. You can try to let go and trust the universe, or you can just see that you are this aware consciousness, that your whole life experience unfolds in and as. And you can stay knowingly as that presence, as the true you, not the mind-made you, not the limited stories and conditioning, but the one true I am before all name and form. Peace. That concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. In the description of this video, there is a link to apply for the free one-to-one with me or one of my team to see if you'd be a good fit for the Awaken Aware program, which is my science and non-duality informed coaching program to help you overcome anxiety, overthinking, and discover peace and inner freedom. Welcome to noisy Mexico. On this call, I aim to serve you really, and clarify things right away. And if it's possible that we're a good fit, we'll talk about taking it further and helping you with an incredible transformation. So if that interests you, click the link in the description or head over to speaktoalex.com. That's speaktoalex.com. See you in the next video. Love you all for being here. Peace.